This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
This is an amazing story. It's in page 7 of the Daily Telegraph today. J-Mo's done it on I didn't hear about this story, and it's about, well, how lucky are you to still be alive stories.
Love these stories.
13-24-10. If you know of a story of someone that they should not have survived what they went through and the miracle that they've come out the other side and they're still living. If you've got a story, get involved. But this is the story of Oscar Blaxland. This was back in 1997 in Neutral Bay at an apartment block. Have a listen to how he was 4 years of age and how far he fell.
The 4-year-old captured our hearts when he somehow survived after falling from a 5-storey building. The fall broke both his legs, but it failed to break his remarkable spirit.
I put it through the window.
Did you?
And I climbed up that window. And I bang.
Like that?
That's unbelievable that a kid has climbed the balcony window.
God.
5 stories up and he has survived the fall. Now, he broke both legs. He had scrambled legs.
Yeah.
But he, the thing is, he's fine now, and he and his sister are writing a book on it and the story that they've had. Look, he said he's got very little cartilage in his knees, and I think one day he'll have to have knee replacements.
Yeah, but look at him. He's a big man now, and he's strong and he's fit. That is amazing.
So, do you know that's a 20 metre? Now, if you've seen a local diving board, right?
Yeah.
And the highest that you can go, you can't even jump off these because they're too dangerous. That's 10 metres.
Yeah.
He's done double that, and he's survived.
Oh,
he's landed on his legs, broke both legs, and he has survived.
I knew you could get it. I just hung in there. I knew. Do you know what? Can you imagine being the parent
He's
in
got
that
a
situation?
scrambled mouth.
Haven't you? Can you imagine being the parent in that situation thinking the quickest way down there is to get down those stairs and try and get there? It would just be the worst thing in the world.
Just to know that he was gone, and then you're like, okay, now what do we do now? Do we go down and check on him, or there's no way he's surviving that?
Oh, those stories. Like, there was a show that used to be on the Disco Channel, I think, on Discovery, and it was simply called I Shouldn't Be Alive. And those stories where a parachute hasn't opened. You know, we had a guy on the show a while ago, and he was in the parachuting division of the army, and his parachute didn't open. And he landed on a fence, broke his femur. I think he may have lost an eye as well. But he's fallen from God knows how high. And he survived.
I mean, if you're that fence company, that's your new tagline, isn't it?
Saving lives. Saving bad parachuters.
Survive a parachute fall. But yeah, no, these stories, we would love to hear from you. Maybe, Tommy, we should try to get Oscar on as well. Because
Yeah, I'm on text with him now, so I think he might join us next.
Great.
Oh, I'd love to hear him just to see how he's going. Jess has given us a call from Curran's Hill. What happened to you, Jess?
Yeah, so me and my friend were rock hopping in Bulli, and when we jumped off, it was the first time we did it, and so we were kind of being swept out into the ocean, and then at the last second, a massive wave just came and basically took us straight back to the rocks. Like, it washed us onto the rock, and we were just clinging for dear life. And if not for that wave, we would have been gone.
What were your injuries, Jess?
Well, just like, we got washed back to the shore, so we had heaps of scratches and gashes and stuff. But it was just, I think it was just the fear of, like, we nearly just got washed out into the ocean, and we were only with, like, 2 other friends, so no one would have really known we were out there.
Jess, you know what? I've seen those videos, and very quickly, unfortunately, it often goes the other way where you're washed out instead of in. You got lucky, my God.
Well done. Adam in Chatswood, you're lucky to be with us, Adsy?
Yeah, mate. I was rock fishing and had a stack and got a really big cut in my leg. And the infection got into my brain and put me in a coma. I was in hospital for like 12 months.
You're kidding me. So what was the cut? Were you on a shell or something, Adam?
Yeah, just from falling on the rocks where I was fishing, and it just got infected with some sort of bacteria from the ocean, yeah.
So how quickly does that infection spread through the body, Adsy? Was it a couple of days, or it took a few weeks?
Yeah, well, I went home and rather than go to doctors, tried to clean it myself, and then within a couple of days, went up to go to bed one night, and luckily my mate was at home with me, and he noticed I fell down the stairs because that was it, like lights out.
Jeez. You don't think about those things, do you? I would have done exactly what you did, Adam. Go home, whack a Band-Aid on it or wrap it up and hope for the best.
Adsy, lucky that you're still with us. We were just talking about Oscar Blaxland before. In 1997, he fell 5 stories from a neutral bay apartment block and survived that. Just broke both his legs, and he joins us now. Oscar, welcome to the show, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Oscar, do you remember anything about that day?
Well, I tell you what, at the time I had, perfect memory recall, and the problem was that, I was sort of I had all this sort of post-traumatic stress disorder and everything, and my hair was falling out in clumps, and...
wow.
And but as the years have gone on, those memories have kind of faded, obviously, because it happened when I was so young. And so right now, the only memory that I do have of the incident was waking up in hospital like a day or like the night after the accident or two nights after the accident. And I remember looking down as a 3-year-old at my thumb, which was by my side, and it had the red the pulse oximeter on it, right? Those things that they glow red.
Yes.
And so I was looking down as a really inquisitive 3-year-old, and just I remember being really curious about what that red light actually was on my thumb. And that's the only memory I have.
You visited the apartment block with your sister the other day and the Daily Telegraph. Did you get a bit emotional? Was it weird to go back there, Oscar?
It was actually quite emotional. I think it's interesting because, for me, because it's something that it's like one of the... It happened so early on in my life that, as I said, it's too early for me to even really remember these days. And so for me, it's been something that's always just sort of been a part of my life, and it's always just been a story. I mean, I remember when I was probably 8 years old, I noticed some scars on my chest.
Yeah, right.
And I said to my dad, Dad, what are these scars? And he said, "Oh, well, that's where they stuck tubes in your chest to drain all the blood out because you had internal bleeding in your chest." And I went, "Really?" And so it's something that's always kind of been, it's just always been part of my life, right? And so, but when I went back to the building, it really did strike me as, oh wow, this is something that really sort of. Changed my life without me kind of even really knowing about it. And it almost, as we know, it should have killed me.
Yeah. Oscar, it'd be hard being your parent too after that moment, because you either go one of two ways. You become so overprotective it doesn't matter. Don't do that. Or you sit back and go, oh, it's only a metre. He fell 20 a while ago.
Yeah, he's fine. He's a miracle boy.
Oh, that's all right, mate. He'll be all right. Nothing can kill this kid. Oscar, what a story. Thank you for sharing, buddy.
My pleasure, guys.
Yeah, and for anyone out there, your mother has released a book called Miracle Boy. Where can you get that, Oscar, if anyone wants to get that book?
Oh, geez, that's a good question. I think if you go to, at the moment, I think if you go to charlotteblaxland.com.au, yes. I believe is the website. I mean, I just can't remember exactly, but yeah, if you look it up, it might actually be in the Daily Telegraph article today as well.
Okay.
I think they've listed it there as well.
And your high jump career hasn't taken off, Oscar, at all?
Well, mate, my high jump career is stuffed, but I did have a pretty successful rowing career and rugby career when I was in high school.
Go,
so
Oscar.
Love that.
Well
what a
done,
star.
son.
What a great story. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys. All the best.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.